This is episode 138 of Ron's Update Podcast, a run, walk, cycle podcast. I'm at Mountain Park walking today, and I'll be giving you an update as best as I can. I haven't done this podcast since probably last November, so I've got a little bit catching up to do. So here we are. Welcome to a long overdue Ron's Update Podcast. I'm at Mountain Park this afternoon. It's in the mid 70s, I guess. It's April 28th, probably the warmest day we've had in a couple of weeks, and the wind's actually not blowing real hard. We'd had some rain earlier. But anyway, I got a lot of stuff to go over in my own mind. I do. I don't know how long this podcast will be. It'll probably be about 5 minutes, you know. That's the way things go. I'm just going to update from the first of the year till now. This being April. I haven't done a whole lot. Of course, I don't know. It's been so long that I did a podcast. I don't remember what I talked about last time. Now, I was injured near the end of last year, and I didn't get to run the Galloway 13.1, so I switched over to the virtual, which I think expires in 2 days, and I haven't run it yet. So if I can, I might try to do 13.1 tomorrow, slow, but it just depends what mood I'm in. You know, I might just scrap the whole thing. But anyway, I didn't get to run that race because of my hamstring injury. And then I guess the end of January, the first part of March, I started running again. And I've been pretty consistent. Well, from the time that I got injured and started going to a physical therapist, I started walking every day, and for about 3 months there, I was very consistent in my workouts. And only this month, April, have I slacked off as far as when I wasn't running, not walking, which I need to get back to doing because I really liked that. I was consistent. Every day I was doing 45 minutes of something. If I wasn't running, I was walking. And I went to Charleston, South Carolina, April 7th, and did the Cooper River Bridge run, which is a 10K. And it was just as a training run. And I felt pretty good. And what was amazing was it was only like less than a minute slower than what I ran Peachtree last summer, when I thought I felt really good running Peachtree. At Charleston, which is one of my favorite races, and I haven't run it very many times. I think I've run it maybe 3 times, maybe 4 times. But this year, I went down there and ran that race, and the temperature was probably close to 60. It was overcast. The wind was blowing probably about 15 miles an hour, which was the worst part of the whole weather, you know, because when you get to the start line an hour or so early and you got to stand around and the wind's blowing on you and it's cool, then you start getting cold, even if the weather's not that bad. Really, I was able to, there was a row of businesses And on the back side of the businesses, there was like a long porch area with benches and things. And the wind was blowing from the other side of the buildings, so you could sit over there in the porch and be perfectly comfortable. So that's what I did. So it worked out real well. And then about 25 minutes before the race started, I got up and started running around, warming up. When the race started, I felt pretty good. I think that's something I'm gonna have to do now that I'm old geezer, because when I first started warming up, it was like, oh, I'm gonna die, you know. I was stiff as a board, and it was just hard to get moving. But after I did it for about 15 minutes or so, I started feeling good. So when the race started, I was fine. And then I was doing the Galloway run walk anyway. So that was, I think I was doing 40-20, run 40 seconds, walk 20 seconds. And I ended up doing like a 1:17, which that's not fast, but I'm 76, so you have to put it in perspective. When I was in my 40s, I was doing 40-minute 10Ks. Now I'm in my 70s, I'm doing 70-minute 10K. So it kind of works out, right? I think I did a 77:09 or 77:02, in that range. And I came in 15th out of 60 in my age group, which isn't anything to rave about, but still, it was okay with me. And considering it was a training run anyway, I felt pretty good about it altogether. So that's my only real race I've had this year. And I've been pretty consistent on my training. I'm doing Galloway customized training program, and you run 3 days a week, and then cross train the other days. So I think you got 6 days of workouts and 1 day of rest. So 3 days of cross training, 3 days of running. And I've been walking during the cross training, but I've finally put batteries in all of my sensors on my bike trainer and everything, and I think I'm going to start riding it for cross training, because I get a little bit more of a workout than I do when I'm running. I mean walking, because when I walk, my heart rate probably only gets up in the 80s, because I'm only walking about 18-19 minute pace, where on the bike trainer, if I ride around 14 mile an hour, my heart rate will get up to about 109, peak at about 120, kind of fluctuate between that range depending on if I, kind of do intervals or whatever on the bike. So I like doing the bike. Plus I can put my iPad on the little holder I got, and I can sit there and watch videos. I've got 3 different training things for my iPad. I've got the Sufferfest, and I've got Trainer Road, and then I've got Kinetic, because that's what my trainer is, a Kinetic road machine. And I don't have Zwift. That seems to be the real popular thing nowadays that's going around, because you can ride your bike trainer. You can ride your bike trainer and, feel like you're riding with people, because it's a kind of a social media type platform, I guess. I might look into it later, but right now, even if I had that, I'd be so slow and out of shape I wouldn't be able to keep up with anybody, so there's no sense even worrying about that. So if I can get consistent with my bike trainer for the cross training and then stay on my running program, I might actually come out better than if I do walking for cross training, because I'll get more aerobic workout on my cross training days and still not beat up my legs, so that'll be good. This morning was a Harbin's Park 3.5 mile trail run that I've done the past 2 years and won my age group, and I didn't go this morning. I just couldn't get up. That's one of my problems here lately. On the weekends, I just like to get up about 7:30, and that's a little late to make it to a race in the morning, so I just figured I'd scrap that. And I rode my bike trainer for half an hour, got in about a little over 7 miles, which is about 14 mile an hour. And now I'm doing a 45-minute walk over at Mountain Park. And it's about 9 or 10 weeks until Peachtree. Now last year I did Peachtree in 1:16, so that's why I said I only ran 1 minute slower at the Cooper River Bridge run than I did Peachtree last year, when I thought I was feeling good at Peachtree. So of course there is a difference. Peachtree's in the summertime where it's warmer and more humid, and Cooper River was in April, about 60 degrees and overcast, so you don't get totally heated up, But I tell you, I was impressed with Cooper River Bridge's organization as far as getting people to the race and stuff like that. I stayed at a Marriott Residence Inn in the Isle of Palms, which is a little bit north of where the race starts. And the race had buses that were within a half mile of where I was staying to pick people up and take them to the start. And then when you finished the race, they had buses downtown to pick you up and take you back and drop you off where you got the bus in the morning to go to the start. So it was like a no hassle get to the race situation, which was really great as far as I was concerned, because when I first signed up for Cooper River Bridge, I was thinking this is a point-to-point race, and it starts in Mount Pleasant, runs across Cooper River Bridge, which is a couple of miles long, and finishes in downtown Charleston. How am I going to get back? In fact, how am I going to get to the start? Am I going to catch Uber? What am I going to do? And then when I found out about the buses, I'm going, are you kidding me? This is great. So I have to give them kudos for that. So I did a little filming while I was doing the race. I was running 40 seconds, walking 20, and whenever I'd be walking, I'd get out I had my GoPro with me, and I would film a little bit as I was going along. And I don't know how long that little clip is, but it's on YouTube. I think I put it on YouTube, I don't know. I'll have to check. If I didn't, I'm going to have to go and edit it and put it on YouTube, because I know I did a GoPro quick video on it and put that on, I think, Facebook or something. But I'm going to have to go check, see if I did put it on YouTube. If I didn't, I'm going to have to edit the GoPro footage and make me a little video and put it on YouTube. Anyway, so my next race is going to be Peachtree. I was looking on Athlinks today because I had to go on Athlinks to claim my Cooper River Bridge run, and I saw that it said that my goal for Peachtree this year was 1:15, and I don't know where that came from because I don't remember putting a goal for Peachtree 2018 on Athlinks. Maybe it just generated one based on my previous couple of races, like the races I've done between last Peachtree and now, or something, who knows. As I said, I'm doing a Galloway customized training plan, and one of the reasons that I kind of crashed the first part of this month and didn't do consistent stuff is I measure my HRV every morning. Every morning I measure my HRV, which is your heart rate variability, and the program that I have on my iPhone, it'll tell you, it gives you a green if everything's great, you know, and go for it, do your normal training. It gives you an amber if you ought to slack off and do an easier workout, and then a red if you should just rest. And I had a streak of about 6 days about a week ago of solid amber. Every single day it was amber, like it was telling me that I shouldn't do a hard workout, which on my training plan I've got a race rehearsal workout one day, a drill workout the next day that I run, and then a long run on the weekend, which right now my long run's only 5 or 6 miles, which is no big deal, but the HRV program was telling me to, you know, just do easy workouts, you know, like walking or something like that, to recover from whatever was causing your HRV to be low. So that kind of, I went, okay, maybe I'll listen to this thing for a change. So that's why I kind of slacked off and didn't, I skipped some days, and I didn't run days I should have, and things like that. And I finally started feeling good this week. So my 5-mile run that I should have run on last Sunday, I ended running on Tuesday, because Sunday was an amber day, and then Monday it just rained all day, and I just didn't feel like going out in the rain. So Tuesday it cleared up, and I went out to Stone Mountain and ran around the mountain for 5 miles. Then Wednesday I did my normal Tuesday workout, which is called a race rehearsal, which I ended up running slower, probably because of the 5 miles a day before. But then after that, I didn't run or cross train on Thursday or Friday. So today's Saturday, so I rode my bike trainer for a half hour, and I'm doing this 45-minute walk. And tomorrow I've got a 6-mile run, and if my HRV's green, I might try to do that 13.1, I don't know. We'll see. I'm here at Mountain Park. They've been working on this park for quite a while, they're putting a football stadium in it, which screwed up the walking trail or running trail, the exercise trail, whatever you want to call it. And the little trail that I've always gone back in the woods, they've made that part of the regular exercise trail, so now a lot more people are back here in the woods than used to be. So, but it's still, if you're just doing a short walk or a short run, this is a good little park to do it, because the loop is, well, before they destroyed the loop, it was a mile loop, and if you did this outside where I'm at, you get a little bit more than a mile. So on today, I'm like walking out 22 and a half minutes and then turning around to get a 45-minute walk in. And I'm not walking very fast today. I don't know if that's because I'm talking. I just can't walk when I talk. I can't walk and talk. Anyway, so I've got the peach tree in 9 or 10 weeks, and then I have registered for Disney's Wine and Dine. I originally was going to do the half marathon, and then I said, why don't I just do the 10K? It's the day before. It's going to be on a Saturday because the half marathon is going to be on a Sunday. That way I can go down there like Thursday, and Ryan, my middle son, and Laura, my daughter, are going to go and run it. We've already registered for it, and I've made reservations at Port Orleans Riverside. I got a suite down there so that we all three can stay in the room, split the cost. So that's going to be, I hear a fire truck off there somewhere. The race weekend is like November, I'd say 1st through the 4th, that time frame. So I've got plenty of time, and I told my coach, Chris Twiggs, that was my goal race. So I've got a long time to train for that 10K, and Peachtree will just be like it's always been to me, just a summer race that I run. I've really never ever trained specifically for Peachtree. I mean, I've wanted to be in good shape for it, but it's never been like my major goal race, because back when I used to be a serious runner, most of my goal races were later on, September, October time frame, not July, the hottest part of the year. So I always did most of my serious races in the spring and in the fall. And back when I was doing the Disney marathon and half marathon almost every year, of course I never ran one of them good either. So I think the fastest half I did at Disney was probably a 157, 156, and probably my fastest marathon down there was like a 448, which was, at the time, I thought was a slow marathon. And I think the fastest one was the first one I did. That was back in 1996. Because even if I was in shape, we'd always go down to Disney a couple of days ahead of time, and my kids would be with me, and of course we'd go to the parks for 2 days. So on the third day I'd run that marathon, and I'd pretty much just be beat as far as your legs are shot from 2 days of walking around those parks for 12 hours. and then go run a race on the third day. It was never, a race that I was ever going to get a good time at. So, but, full 48, that was okay. And I think the slowest one I ever did was a 5:05. And then 1999 was my last marathon. That's when I decided I would retire from doing marathons. You can probably hear cars going by. This walking trail at Mountain Park goes along beside the road for about a quarter of a mile. And that's where I'm at right now. But anyway, what was I saying? We're talking about the halves at Disney when I quit doing the full. Yeah, I think I quit. And my last marathon was 1999. Then I started doing halves down there, and I did like 2000, 2001, 2002. I think I skipped 4 and 5. I think I did 2006, 2008, 2011. So I started skipping them, So this year we're going to go do the 10K instead of the half. You can see a trend here, right? Go from marathon to half marathon to 10K. And next I'll be doing 5Ks. But so I got that Disney 10K in November, about the first week of November, and then of course I signed up for the Galloway half a long time ago. I think it was the day after last year's race was over. So it was fairly inexpensive to register early, so that's what I did. So I've got 3 races scheduled that are locked in, and if I start feeling good and really getting into running races again, I'll start doing some of the Xterra trail races and the Dirty Spokes trail races. They're fairly, 3.5 miles, 4 miles, in that range. They're just fun trail races. And of course, I want to crank my drone up whenever the wind quits blowing and it's nice weather out. I was planning on doing that this year, but I never have got around to it because the weather's been mostly rainy and windy, or just cold and windy. So that's another project that's been on hold for a while. And of course my podcasting hadn't been too consistent either. And I always say I'm going to do better, and I never do. So I'm not even going to promise that to you. I'm just going to, whatever happens, happens. Of course, this RonsUpdate Podcast, my disclaimer is this is a, whenever I feel like it podcast anyway. It's not got any set schedule. My Lost Trail Runner podcast has a schedule that I consistently miss, which aggravates me because I want to be consistent with that. I want to do one every other week. And the problem is when I don't feel like I have anything to talk about, I don't do one. And I don't, I could research some stuff and make a podcast, kind of like a trail running news podcast or something, if I'm not out running and doing various things. But I don't ever do that. I'm just lazy, I guess, when it comes to doing a podcast. So I'll just, plus I hate to have to sit down and script one. As you can tell by this one, I just kind of wing it. And a lot of these podcasts that I listen to are very, they're organized. Mine's not organized. Never has been. And I can guarantee you it probably never will be. Because it's just me talking, carrying on a conversation. One-sided conversation, but conversation, So that's the way it's going to be. I've got in about 26 minutes now of this walk out of 45. I'm going back the other way now so you can hear cars again. I turned around, I was going out and back. So I got an email from the Galloway half marathon that the hotel reservations have just opened up downtown near the start of the race. And I've been thinking that this year, I might just get a hotel room down there. It's only about a block or so from the starting line, and it's a lot less hassle than having to catch a MARTA train down there and stand around for an hour or two in the cold weather or whatever kind of weather it is. Could just stay in the hotel, and then before the race starts, just walk out and get in line, or do a little warm-up first. So I figure if I get a reservation, I think the race is on a Sunday morning, so I think the 5K's on Saturday. I get a reservation for Saturday night and Sunday night. That way I won't have to evacuate the hotel Sunday morning. I can come back after the race and relax and everything, and then go home in no rush, just check out when I want. So that's what I might do. I actually made myself a to-do list this morning of things I wanted to get done, and I have a app on my phone which also syncs with the app on my computers called Things 3, and you can make to-do lists and projects and things like that, and they automatically update each other across the different platforms. And so I made myself a to-do list this morning and working my way down, and if I give myself structure like that, then I get things done. Sometimes if I don't, I'll just kind of procrastinate and sit around, watch some YouTube, or I've got NBC Sports app on my Roku, and I've got a subscription to Premier League and to cycling, so I get to watch, the major races in Europe. So I get hung up on watching one of those bike races, and you can sit there for 3 hours, because like this past couple of weeks, the Bastogne-Liège was on, and so was the I can't even pronounce it. I won't even try. It's a Belgium race. And of course Paris-Roubaix was on, or Roubaix, however they say it. And you can sit there all day and watch those things and waste a day, which is what I end up doing. If I don't have my to-do list telling me, here, you got to do this, 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 and this. And once you get all that done, if you have some time, then you can sit down and watch some cycling or some Premier League soccer. But today was a good day, because the only time I watched any bike racing was while I was eating breakfast. As soon as I got through eating breakfast, I turned off the TV, got my to-do list going, and I'm still working my way through it. After I finish this walk, I gotta go to the grocery store next. Then after that, I don't know what I got to do. Maybe I'll run out of things to do on my to-do list, and then I can publish this podcast. Maybe I'll just add it to the end of the to-do list. That way, if I don't get it done today, it'll be the first thing tomorrow. So anyway, I've about run out of things to talk about, so I think I'm just going to end the podcast and hopefully get it out to you. And maybe I'll do another one sometime soon. See you later. Bye.
Hey, thanks for listening to today's podcast. We'll be here next time. Keep the emails coming in and be sure to subscribe.